What's up, everyone? It's your homegirl Ivy of Welcome to the Rawrrzone, Ivy Productions, KDK Photography. We are here, very special guest right now. I've been talking to her, especially during the quarantine. She's been a dope influence. Funny though,
Thank
'cause
you.
she's an influencer. Get it? Ha. Um, Everyone, give it up for Tori Indeed. Hold on, let me get my applause on.
Yay!
I got my sound effects for you. Don't
Oh,
worry.
thank you. But I have no problem patting myself on the back. Trust me.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Thank you. You're far too kind.
Far too kind. Far too kind. So we talked a lot about the industry lately, you and I, and about social media.
Right.
I think the first thing we need to get out of the way, because a lot of people tend to confuse the two, is what is the difference between a publicist and a social media influencer or media?
Well, oh, I'm sorry. A publicist is someone who represents a brand, a company, or even yourself. And they post articles about you. They get public releases in whether it's a newspaper, media, and it's like a representation. And an influencer is more of a person that influence you on a day-to-day basis. Like if you influence a nice lifestyle where you're on yachts and all this, and some people fake it for the gram. Listen, I have friends with yachts too, and I could jump on a boat myself. But you know there's people that actually do live a lifestyle, and there's people that influence that lifestyle. So it has influencer has like its depths to it. You know what I mean? um and you could break it down in so many ways. You could be an influencer to spread positive vibes, or you could be an influencer for a brand. So it breaks down to a lot of different categories.
So do you consider yourself an influencer for a vibe or an influencer for a brand?
The vibe is the brand. So, well, that's my brand. I'm speaking on
Vibe to
behalf of
Vibe Network.
what I created, Vibe to Vibe. It's a platform. It basically means from genre to genre, from different entertainments to different entertainments, meaning or from my vibe to your vibe. So it's not specific, only because I'm a lover of all arts and entertainment and music.
Okay. You it also said you were an event MC and as well as a media personality. How were you able, especially as of late, been able to tie all three together for your brand?
So my brand is a Tori Indeed brand, which is a personality, and then there's the Vibe to Vibe brand as the platform. And the platform can present events, just like your local radio can present a car show, a concert. So Vibe to Vibe is presenting the event, and they hire Tori Indeed, which is myself.
Yes.
So now it's like a double, you know, two different brands, two different things. And the way I was able to jump, it's actually easier to separate, because if you're hired as Vibe to Vibe Media, I'm not there as Tori Indeed. I'm there as your media. I'm there as your production team. I'm there as that. Now, if you hire Tori Indeed as a host, I'm your voice, not your vision.
So what happened if someone looks to hire both?
It's
How does that
possible. The same way I come out with a team. If I eat, my team eats. I'm not greedy, and we get the job done. We help each other have a very great, solid team, and it's been working for us for the past 5 years as the Vibe to Vibe brand. And prior to that, I've had other brands that I kind of just like grew out of or evolved to what became Vibe to Vibe.
Okay. So Vibe to Vibe is considered, I want to say, in a way, television, but it's online.
So Vibe to Vibe is definitely a media production company. Uh, the solid platform right now, it is TV. And if you heard of Roku TV and the smart devices, that's where we broadcast. So we are on TV, and it's of course live streaming, so it's internet, right? But that's what today is. The Netflix, the Disney Pluses, the Amazon Prime, that's all live streaming. And we're available on Roku TV and smart devices, as well as Teslas, the electronic cars. So that's super
Mhm.
cool. So it's
Roku's
internet
in.
TV, what it comes down to.
I just learned something today. Roku's in cars. That is actually a dope thing. Like, did you ever meet anyone with a Tesla just to see if you could watch your show on it?
Oh yes, I have. I actually have scheduled an upcoming. I was gonna do it yesterday, but I was on the go. Or was it
Hmm.
yesterday or the day before yesterday? And I was like, we're gonna have to hold this thought, and we're gonna have to relink because I have so many errands to do. I've been traveling a lot, so now that I'm kind of um in Jersey right now, I kind of catch up with everything. But I definitely have some upcoming clips coming in the person's Tesla, so I'm excited about that, and the dealers that I am affiliated with.
Oh, you fancy? You got a dealership too?
Not my dealership, no.
Well, you got a sponsorship.
Kind
That's
of like
still
a
kind.
brand ambassador.
I mean, that's still kind of fancy though.
Thank you.
So, with that being said about digital streaming services, do you feel like television as a whole is gonna decline the same way music declined, the movie theaters got shut down, like physical?
Right, right. Just like cable kind of went to internet and
Yeah.
cinemas went to live streaming and whatnot. I mean, technology, telecommunication, it always evolves, but there will always be a need and an urgency for telecommunication, whether it transitions to smart TVs, to watching things on your phone, your watch, your smart, eventually we're gonna be watching things on our watches, right? um, or they'll have the capabilities. But I feel like technology and telecommunications, they're always evolving, and it's needed in case to break news or news breaks rather, um, in case there's emergencies. Like there's always going to need an outlet. So it's going to evolve somehow. Which way, I really don't know.
And with that too, right? Like especially in the communications
Thank
field,
you.
media kind of been. See, I took a lot of classes, especially with my master's for PR on ethics in media.
Right.
And with something that always gets to me, especially lately, like I remember we were talking about it on Rawrrzone last week. The story about how the cop the headline said the cop tased a woman for not wearing a mask. When in reality, when you read the article, the woman was acting out this and that, and then after that she got tased. I mean, she
Right.
wasn't wearing a mask, but they kind of made it misleading to think like, okay, the woman didn't wear a mask, so she got tasered by the police. Do we feel like now media, social media is just influencing everything to spice it up enough so
It
only
could
our
look like what it's not.
yes.
So with social media and news breaking through social media and people actually posting videos, or you always get just that vision, that side of the story. You don't get the full story, and it's unfortunate because you feel for the person that got hurt, got tased, um and sometimes they're completely innocent. Like, we don't know, there's different stories that the cop paid her not to wear her mask, and like a setup for what, you know what I mean? Now people are posting their version of the story and what happened. It's just really tough. That area becomes really, really tough.
Yeah, and just like even with like let's give another example, the pandemic. None of like we know people died from the coronavirus pandemic,
Correct.
but the numbers have supposedly been so misconstrued. So now when they're talking about the United States hitting supposedly what millions or billions now,
Right.
I'm
The
like, doesn't
cases.
that isn't that hard to believe when New York supposedly had the highest number at the peak of the pandemic?
It's definitely hard to believe. One, it's a pandemic, and two, you hear about the bonuses the hospitals and the doctors are getting because of the corona cases. So we don't know how many are truly a coronavirus case versus you know, somebody trying to cash out, so it comes to a lot of factors and a lot of um like points and everything. Media could spice things up. Unfortunately, not everybody is as raw, like the raw zone, or as real as the vibe is real on my ends. But so we're not sure. And as journalists and media personalities, we love to fact check. So how can we actually check these facts? Where can I get these statistics? Who's signing off on these statistics? Who's co-signing them?
I mean,
It's
like,
hard to
we
tell.
can't, we can't say none of it's accurate now because we were thinking when the COVID happened and the Z packs were supposed to help us, right? And then you have Donald Trump who catches supposedly COVID, ironically, right before the vice presidential election, the vice presidential debates,
Right.
and after 3 days,
He's well.
yeah. And once
There
again,
are also sources saying that he caught it and had it longer than what was stated. If he did have it, he was around a lot of people, and some people came up positive, as well as Chris Christie. He also came up positive. So we don't really know. We don't really know. Some say it was
but there's
like
still no word on if Chris Christie is okay. There's not even word if the first
correct.
lady
I
is
haven't
okay.
seen. Right. So I mean, we don't know how long he's had it, if he is positive. Um, and we also don't know how long he's had it, if how long he's had it and how long he went around communicating and meeting with other people, possibly spreading.
But if you felt, especially as someone of his age, I can't buy that story. And I say this because one of the articles stated that he was really out of breath. So if you had the coronavirus, and once again, if you're someone older in age, there's obviously respiratory issues. There's obviously like everything is shutting down.
Right.
You know, not trying to sound like a dick, but let's call a spade a spade.
No,
He's
that's fine.
old. I'm
Right.
surprised. First of all, I still say up to this day, I'm surprised that Donald Trump actually made it through 4 years of office without getting assassinated.
That I mean, a lot of people are very opinionated on that. I don't really go dive into politics very
No, of
much,
course.
but I know there's different views on that, and that he lasted this long, and how come he wasn't, any attempts, or there's a lot of talk of that. A
You
lot of
know,
people think he's ignorant, or not educated enough, or not personable,
I mean,
and
first of all, people write his speeches, so let's blame the people that write his speeches. If you're gonna really talk shit about somebody, we know Donald Trump doesn't write his own speeches.
we do know he's the only president who spends a lot of time on Twitter, right?
Right? Listen, you could tell me he definitely did those tweets, but he did not write and talk about the relations with freaking Korea. But that's another story. The point of the whole thing was for someone so advanced in age, 71 years old, and you're just saying after 3 days you now feel better after having these severe symptoms. None of it adds up.
And his wife also turned up positive
Yes, and no one's
for
talking about her.
COVID-19. Right. I didn't really see much coverage on her at all. I'm not too sure. We're just part of the people that are unsure if he really had it or not. Um, and I've heard cases that a 99-year-old woman defeated, COVID.
I like those
Um,
stories though.
I'm sorry.
I like those stories though.
Yeah.
It's no, and it's no, it's positive though to think because we've had so many people, and you and I've spoken about it that we've lost to different circumstances, and some we've lost to COVID that were younger.
Right.
Some
There were
were
children. There was cases with children.
there was
And
cases with
that's why
children.
they ended up going back to homeschooling, or not opening up the schools full time, if they're open.
Is the schools in Jersey still open or no?
From what I know, they're okay. So there is remote learning, and there's also something called hybrid, where they partially go to school and then partially finish the rest of the day at home, or every other day, um, remote. I know California was remote, and Florida they were remote.
Okay. But enough about COVID. Let me ask more about you. Where did the Indeed name come from?
Indeed, I'm sorry. Indeed validates Tori, so it's saying true indeed. Like I'm always myself, and I'm always me, no matter what circumstances or life circumstances.
So Tori Indeed was Tori Indeed for the last 10 years, or did you like, when did you
Tori
know
Indeed
you?
was born possibly like 11 years ago. Prior to that, I just used my name, my regular name. I wanted to keep things separate from my personal life once I realized that I was going to be doing this um, seriously.
Okay. So how did that journey start? Because back then, 10 years ago, there was no such thing as social media influencers. Social media had just pretty much started, give or take, when we had like MySpace and.
Correct. So at that time, I did have Facebook and I did have a MySpace once upon a time, but this is actually rooted from my childhood. So I've
Okay.
been talking to people, interviewing people since I was a kid with my Play School cassette player, the white one with the red cover on it and the
Oh my
attached microphone.
god!
My mom still has some tapes. I literally have to like play some for my show or for maybe for you in the future. And so I would go around asking them what people were really passionate about and what they loved the most. I've always been around entertainment and music growing up in a Latino household
Hmm.
and in Jersey with my diverse friends and childhood friends. I had Spanish friends, African American friends, Indian friends, Indonesian friends, and we were all um, young. And some of my close friends, we were being raised by foreigners. You know, we're the first generation here in the U.S. or whatnot. So there was a lot of big diversity. My Indian friends, and so I listened to everything. I love all type of entertainment. Um, I was a ballerina, a gymnast, a dancer. So I've always had art around me all the time.
So how did you overcome the diversity, and how did your family um did was your family supportive of your ventures, being that you are the first generation American? Well,
Right. So,
yeah.
yes, my family always supported me, especially my mom. She always told me I could be whatever I wanted to be. I could do whatever I wanted to do. And she always told me, like, just do what you want as long as you bring home that high school diploma. You know what I mean? At that time, in that era, it was more like, I want you to finish high school. You know, I was an easy kid. Um, I was tickled. I did what I want when I wanted. I wasn't disrespectful to my parents or to my mother, but I always did what I wanted to do, and I wasn't like a follower. You know, I used to throw once I started learning how to write. I think I was like in elementary school. When do you learn how to write? Like first, second grade. You're writing birthday
Yeah.
cards for your classmates and stuff. So I started writing invitations to my house. I learned how to write my address. Like, and I started kids show up to my mom's door, and my mom with limited English was like, "¿Qué pasa? Like, what's going on?" "Oh, I'm having a party." And
And
I'd be
how
like,
old were you
"What?"
when you did that?
I might have been like 7, 6, whenever we started writing. And instead of turning them away, she would allow me to have my party. But I would tell my classmates, like, don't bring a present because it's not my birthday. Because I remember once I gave out birthday invitations, but I didn't know like how to like cross out birthday, and I just wanted them to come over for a party. And
Oh,
and that time we would have like the 100 disc CD player with the cassettes, and then you could even play the like a record on it. You know, that old system with the big speakers. So my
yeah.
brother, he had the cool music. He had the back streets and the black streets and all music. And I was playing Wu-Tang. I was playing all this music that we shouldn't be listening to, but I did. I played DMX. I played everything. And when I see kids today singing the songs that are popular, it reminds me of the time like, damn, was I that like little hood or that little saying
Yo,
those lyrics like
I said the same thing. Um, a couple of like before the pandemic hit, I had did a I took pictures of a Valentine's Day party for a local middle school, and my friend was the DJ. And I'm pretty sure this is when Rockstar came out, and all we hear is like a whole bunch of fifth
Oh,
graders like,
Rockstar produced by Zoe Cardona. That's my boy.
no, the baby one.
Oh, the the old school one.
They go like, all I see is yellow Lamborghini, fuck a cop car. And my nieces are go to that school. They're like, the pictures I'm making like I'm a cop. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh no, I'm not. No, nah, I'm out. I can't. Like they had kids of all ages doing it. I'm like,
I know, and then the Jersey Club music, and so okay, so that's other things I would play at my house parties. So I had all these house parties from elementary school through high school,
and your
and it
mom
became
didn't
like a
say nothing.
weekly. I mean, what could she? My mother rather me have parties than be out in the streets. You know what I mean? Like,
I
if
feel
not, I
you.
was a stoop kid, so I was always on the stoop, braiding people's hair. I always carried my boombox every day to school. I had this blue boombox, so anybody that went to my elementary school or my middle school, I used to carry this boombox with like these D batteries. Oh, that shit was heavy. But like,
You
I
probably
would
got
come
a
home
workout
and
out of that.
yeah, that shit would kill me. And then at one point I was playing instruments, so I had to carry my boombox and my instrument. Man, I was getting tired. Like, come on. But
Leave the
no, my
instrument
mom
at
never
home
turned
then.
anybody away. I
Man,
would have and I would have a fall party, a Halloween party, a just because party, a Christmas party, um, even holidays that I didn't celebrate, my friends celebrated. So I would have all the light parties, for my diverse friends and all that. It became like a weekly thing. Then it went to every other week, and then it went to like a monthly thing. And it was like I would make my friends perform. A lot of them were talented. A lot of them would sing. A lot of them would dance. We would come up with choreography. Oh hey, you know. So I mean, at one point it was just like my friend would throw a party, I would throw a party, and it was dope. People would just go across in these buildings we used to live. They'll just walk behind the buildings, go to the next party, come back. It was dope. I think it only got out
man,
of hand once.
why didn't I hang out with you when I was in high school or even middle
And
school? Literally,
yeah, I did this. And then that turned into after high school, it turned into events and all that. It was just always known for that.
do you feel like we're ever gonna have the chance to do events again, like on what was considered the old norm?
I mean, I see people already slowly but surely starting events back up. Um, and I mean, as long as people like follow the precautions, and it's also up to beliefs. Like a lot of people think Corona's man-made rather. So it depends on how safe you really are. I'm already a germaphobe. I'm already living a quarantine life. For those who don't know me, I live low key. I'm like very social, but hibernate social. I don't
Well, you're an introvert. Yeah, I mean, no,
know.
no, ambivert.
I'm very empathetic. I feel what people feel, and sometimes it drains you. I get tired, you know.
And this,
But as far as events, eventually they'll come back around. I don't know if it's gonna be the norm. There's probably gonna be capacity issues, or let's not say issues, but maybe rules really applied. Because I've been to events where they say the capacity is 100 people and you see 150.
yeah,
I threw myself a birthday showcase one year, completely sold out, and once I reached 102 people, they really would not allow me another person. It was down South Jersey, and nice area, and they would not go over that capacity. So imagine now. I know other places in hood areas you could get away with it. We've done it. We all done it.
of course.
But I think they will be more strict probably.
So is Tori? What is Tori indeed? Is she a Scorpio? Is she a Libra?
I'm an
I'm going off.
Aries.
You're an oh, you a March baby or Feb? Like, mm, it-
March.
March.
Yep. Fire. I'm a proud
Mm.
Aries.
Yeah, girl,
I'm a
flaunt it.
loyal Aries.
Oh, we gotta drop a bomb for that one.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Aries gang in the building.
Gang,
So that
gang,
means you have
gang.
the St. Patty's party. Got you.
What's your zodiac sign?
I am a Gemini.
Oh no, just kidding. So
Nah,
Gemini's and
it's
Aries.
okay though, but I don't take it offensively. But I just started learning about like my moon signs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So ironically, just because life likes to fuck the Geminis, right? They paired up my moon with Libra and my fucking rising with Scorpio. So I'm like, oh, so this is why I'm just a fucking bundle of sunshine, right?
Ah, you're amazing. So Libras, I'm sorry, Gemini's and Aries, they're supposed to have good friendships. You're the air, I'm the fire.
Well, you know what? This explains why we're having a good conversation right now.
Oh, thank you. I feel like we're having a great conversation. I also love my Palo Santo and my sage. I love crystals. I'm very intuitive. I'm really into all of that. I
See,
really
I'm
am.
just learning the zodiac, so you're gonna like help me up there with that.
I got you.
So you mentioned before about your empathy and everything, and that's something definitely we've spoken about because we're both empathic and we're both very I don't want to say emotional, but we're sensitive. During the COVID, how has that affected you mentally? Like not being able, like knowing you are a homebody when you want to be, but the fact that you can't see your family and friends.
I think it worked out very well for me anyway. Nothing really changed in my lifestyle, but eating eating out maybe and ordering less food, like cooking more, ordering less. I was already getting in the habit of cooking all my meals because I'm back on a health track or a health kick rather. But Corona didn't really affect me negatively. I live a quarantine lifestyle. I made sure if I did go out, I would be cautious because I want to see my mom and my nieces and nephews and my brothers, and I just always make sure they were also, being cautious as well.
Yeah,
So mentally, um, I'm very, very, very mentally aware, meaning I mentally check in with myself. I don't care if you
yeah.
call it talking to yourself or talking to myself. I make sure I'm okay. Like, okay, I think to myself. Sometimes I say it out loud. I don't care. I'm like, are you good? Am I okay? Am I feeling okay? I always mentally check in with myself even before quarantine and before corona. I'm very mentally aware of how the mind state can affect you day to day, short term, long term, whether it's anxiety, depression. If I go through something, I never take it out on anybody because I'm mentally aware, you know?
I mean I've kind of been taking that on people. My bad, guys. Um,
There's the
no,
public apology.
I mean listen, I'm not gonna give everyone a whole public apology because if I did that, that'd be a long fucking list. Um, but I feel like the quarantine, if it helped me, if anything, helped me improve myself mentally. Because I'll just openly say this, like
Oh,
I
there's definitely mental improvement also.
like I probably if credit came with marijuana, I probably would have had such a great credit score. But I gained so much weight. I lost it again, but I gained the weight. But I kept working on my mental more than anything because
Right,
suffering from anxiety and suffering from depression, I didn't understand it. Because I always used to be on the go and I used to work and I used to run and I used to not care if
yeah,
I'm okay as long as my job was done. But when
right,
the quarantine happened, before I even figured out what the fuck is work, I sat here. I'm
right,
like, yo, what the fuck do I have right now?
right. Sometimes you just get so busy and you are consistently working back to back to back. By the time you get home, take a shower, and go to bed, you wake up and you do it all over again.
And you don't
And
think about it.
yeah, and although I say I'm mentally aware, However, that hit me really hard in 2019. I had mini strokes and multiple mini strokes because I would wake up, work like a maniac, create like a maniac. I'm a creator. I get obsessed. You know, I'm a perfectionist. I'm very detailed oriented. So
What is a
for a
mini
perfectionist
stroke?
like me, I was just working back to back to back. Sometimes I'm like, did I eat? Did I not eat? And I was neglecting my wellness, my health, and I paid the price for it.
What is a mini stroke?
TIA are like mini strokes back to back. So it's basically it's not a stroke, it's not a full heart attack. But it happens to people differently. Um, it could affect you like where it's like your heart is having a stroke or you're having a stroke. Sometimes you don't even know you're going through it, you know?
You need.
Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I had multiple mini strokes. My legs went numb for days. You know, I was in the hospital. I was admitted to hospital. A lot of people didn't know that because I still from the hospital was replying to emails. I was still connected. You know, nobody knew. I never really publicly posted it. I think I did once, and then I ended up taking it down. Or it was a story that deletes within 24 hours. So whoever caught it, caught it. I was just basically implying and really telling people like, yo, you got to check yourself. Yeah, I check myself mentally, but you also got to check like, did I eat? Did I do this? All right, I got to take a break. You know, I had a habit of, all right, fruit roll up. I'll be at my desk with a whole bunch of fruit roll up, just working, working, working,
I
working.
mean,
This
that
is
is fruit technically.
technically, 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 or it'll be like I'll go hours without drinking something, and I'm like, did I? Maybe I should drink water, and then I would drink soda all night, and then I'm just like, what the hell? It's 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I gotta go to sleep. So now I make sure all my phones go on silent at a certain time. Um, you know, anybody like on my favorites are important contacts like my family, people close to me. In case there's an emergency, they can reach me. But I learned to disconnect.
I think that's the best thing I learned out of quarantine was learn how to disconnect because not
Right.
everything took a priority and before and just like maybe it was just like the empath in me where I wanted to help people.
Oh yeah, I'm done wearing my heart on my sleeve. I mean, I'll still help
Yeah.
people, but I'm done. I'm over it. It's hard because as I'm, empathetic person, like the first thing you do is you want to help. People come up to me with ideas all the time. I'm like, all right, this is what you have to do. You got to create yourself as a brand. All right, separate this and then I start like word vomit. And then there was like,
And then
oh
it's
yeah,
free
maybe
information on top of that. It's not
yeah.
like you.
And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing that. You're taking away my energy. You know, um, there's a lot of lessons in the industry. There is.
What is the hardest lesson you feel like you ever had to learn?
I guess like keeping myself in check with health, wellness, um, and really, yeah, that.
What do you so you have like a whole you like you said you've worked with different genres of music of life. What was the easiest for you to I guess influence or like create an influencer campaign for and what was the hardest?
They're all the same. I mean, I never really had a hard moment. No, I really didn't have a difficult time. The difficult time was within myself, maybe, where I'm like, dang, I just want to lay down, take a nap, and when I disconnect, I disconnect.
Yeah.
So maybe that I would find hard, but not when it came to campaigns or talking to people. Like that's all like second nature to me.
So like there was no genre that was like extremely easy for you and there was no genre that was extremely hard.
I listen to every genre from rock to rap to hip hop to soulful music, neo soul, um, heavy metal. I listen to everything. Classic rock, house music, freestyle music, battle rap. Um,
I might if you do house too, all right, I might have to send somebody your way for you to check them out.
that's the whole point of vibe to vibe is genre to genre, not genre specific, because I couldn't pick one genre. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I love music. You'll catch me listening to some things that like, you know that song? Like, yeah, this is my song, you know? And they were like, what? I'm like, yep. And then my whole like if you I do a lot of road trips, and if you're ever I'm the best person to road trip with. We'll listen to R&B, we'll listen to gangsta music, we'll listen to love music, heartbreak music, rock. Rock really keeps me going and like stay awake. So I listen to a lot of old school System of a Down, Linkin Park, um
A woman from my own heart.
Metallica, if you want to get a little in the heavies. So I rock out heavy. Or sometimes I'll start singing Georgia, like Georgia, like the old blues, you know.
Georgia of mine.
Yeah, like everything, even a little bit of country, um,
Are you a Rascal Flats person?
techno. I'm sorry,
Do you like Rascal Flats?
rats or flats.
Rascal Flats country music?
Oh, I don't know why I thought you said rats or flats. I'm like, what?
What?
I'm like, what do you? And then I'm like, is she talking about shoes? So I'm like, are you talking about my style? Because we can get into that as well. Because that is
Listen,
definitely
your
my
style is
preference.
fire. Like I can't even say nothing about your style. Like yo, Tori's on point. Like every day she got a whole different outfit. She could be standing at home, she got a whole different outfit.
Oh my god! You know what it is? I have to take like at least 4 showers a day, minimum. Like I have issues, man. Like I love to smell good. I like before this interview. I'm not with you in person, but I put perfume on. I touched up my perfume.
Oh, I
Like,
did the same thing.
see,
I
I take one of my biggest compliments is that I smell good, and I don't know why it's corny, but I take pride in that. Like, oh shit, I must knock down the whole setup.
yeah,
I got a little too
damn.
passionate about my set, but
Yeah, don't break the set, man.
it's okay. We always have a backup. I learned that too. But
Don't remind me. I need to get a backup.
so yeah, this is like one thing I take like with pride. Like I could look bummy, I could look great, but one thing, my hygiene is on point, and I always have a good scent.
I mean, I get a lot of compliments for some reason on my eyebrows, so I take
Oh
pride in
yeah,
my
me too.
eyebrows.
I love your hair though. It's like
Thank
wild.
you. Yeah, so it's funny. I went to work today. I went to my day job. I also did a photo shoot. Went back to my day job. Went back to the place for the photo shoot because I forgot something.
Oh no, were you able to get it?
I got my stuff back.
Oh good.
Um, it was my coffee crack too. I needed that shit. That was my coffee stash right there. I'm not going. No, I'm not leaving the Bronx without it.
That is hilarious.
Um, and on top of that, because it was a birthday shoot, they invited me to stay a little longer. So I was like, damn. And you
I
already
was just
know.
gonna say sometimes it's one of those things where like you know it's an honor. Like thank you for letting me stay after I
No,
shoot you.
it is because and not to even put the girl on blast or anything. Like she spoke to me like because the person that set it up, her husband, stepped out running to get some things like to help her out. Like this man, first of all, this man deserves a fucking award. First of all,
Really?
I walk into the place for the shoot. He's got rose petals everywhere for her, balloons set up everywhere.
Wait, what
Like
kind of shoot was this? A
this,
birthday shoot?
it was a birthday shoot, right? So she had a
Oh,
little bit of the appropriate stuff and a little bit, the sexy lingerie.
oh,
But
cool.
he had everything, like a whole room decked out for her, and it was so sweet. Like it was a teddy. There was even a teddy bear that had looked like it was roses and had a gold henny bottle next to it. I'm like, so do you have a twin brother?
Oh, do they make
Like,
more of you?
is there more of you in this world?
There are definitely rare gems. Just like we're rare gems, right? There's definitely someone else out there that's rare. So we just gotta find them, stalk them, and kidnap them. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, man, that's what we said we were gonna do with Ryan Gosling, but that never happened.
That is hilarious.
But after that, ended up coming home. I recorded another podcast um to put out, and I changed shirts because it was a wrestling podcast. So I had my Austin 316 shirt,
Oh, cool.
but I didn't know if you liked wrestling, so I was
I
like,
used
let
to
me
watch
just.
wrestling back in the day. I haven't been up to date with it now, but man, it was a big part of my childhood. We would definitely put the mattresses down. We would impersonate like the Undertaker, the Hardy Brothers. Oh my God, what? That was like a big
Can
part of
we
my.
keep you? Can you just be? Can you just stay in New York with us and forget Jersey?
I'm on my way.
I'm waiting.
That is so funny. Yeah. Oh my God. Wrestling was the shit. We were used to
What?
order the pay-per-views. Oh my God. Then after wrestling, we would watch the celebrity death match.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
We gotta invite you
So
one of these days to the viewings that we go to in the city,
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you have anything, let me know. I'll try to support, come out, or even as friends or whatnot.
bro.
But
Yes.
speaking of wrestling and music and everything, so
Do you
I
do
was
that
having a
too?
conversation if I ever were to plan a wedding, because people want big weddings. I want to come out to like a wrestler, but like obviously in my gown, but like rock music and like kind of like how the wrestlers came out. Like I don't want that slow traditional wedding. I'll let you know when I get there in my life what I choose.
I mean, listen, I might be the photographer. We never know.
You never know, or you might be a guest. I mean, that's the tricky part. Like, you know how you become friends with someone in the industry, or you become really fly with them, and you're just like, dang, I want to hire you as my photographer, but I want you to be there as like my people. But I was
All
thinking, I
the
was
time.
I was talking to one of my good friends. He's a DJ, and then I was like, yeah, maybe you'll DJ my wedding one day or whatever event and or whatnot. And he was like, oh, it'd be an honor. I'm like, no, you know what? I'd rather you attend. He goes, no. You know how dope it'll be to say I was the DJ at your wedding? I
I
was
mean,
like,
you are a dope person.
I was like, well, thank you. I guess I didn't. Well, maybe he meant it in like the Tori Indeed way, but I thought he meant it like as a friend. Like, yo, my friend trusted me so much, she let me DJ at her party. You know?
I feel like obviously it has to do with that, but you also got to remember, and this is what people, and I'm starting to realize too, because we're doing stuff like this for so long. Like you're doing this for 10 years, I'm doing the media alone for three,
I've been
but
doing this since as I was a kid.
well,
Woo.
officially, but
Yeah, you're
I've
right.
been, I like when, but like photography, I'm doing it 10 years, right? And I have my sorority sister, my little, who's like, I want you to be my photographer, but I'm fucked because you're in my wedding party.
Tripod for when you walk out and do this, or you have a
Yo, I
backup
did ask was saying,
and
I'm
you
like, yo,
take
I could,
over.
I'm like, I could get the tripod. She's like, no. She,
Okay, so you have an assistant that day. They take the photos, and then you take over.
yo,
That's hard. That's definitely hard. I'm just trying. See, because I'm like you, a creator, and I'm like, no, I could do this. I
I
could
would
get this
trust me.
done.
I was thinking of everything, and
Can
then
I
she's
at
like,
least be
yo,
my
but I
production
work for.
company handling it?
She's like, but I'm like, it's like you're not gonna let me pay you. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm kind of broke right now. I might let you pay me, but
Yeah.
so vibes to vibe, right?
Right.
Um, like we were talking about, it's a 24-hour state.
Yeah.
Uh,
24-hour content. Yep.
how does that work if there's 24 hours in a day and Tori can't be there to record 24 hours worth of content?
We have so we're a licensed platform. So what that means is we're licensed with ASCAP, BMI, CSEC, and Sound Exchange. So I play music videos, and if I play people's music and they're licensed, I'm sorry, if they're also registered with those licensing companies, they'll get paid their royalties. So at the same way the radio stations play your music, and you get money, the same way people hit Apple Music, whatever other digital platforms, they get paid their little check for a couple cents a play or whatnot, or a quarter of a cent or whatever breakdown they have.
Hmm.
So I have music videos playing, and artists who get paid.
So for artists to submit, like, do you believe in the whole pay for play?
Not necessarily pay for play. There are packages that are considered promotional packages. There are artists that I just threw up on there, um, whether I interviewed them or not, So it's more of a promotional thing, not really play for. pay for play.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, a lot of artists I've seen always talk about pay for play and this and that, but sometimes people just don't understand the whole process too behind all of this.
Right. And I know
That
they try to go through, like, they try to get, I've seen people post about the law, and unfortunately when it comes to the internet, that law applies just so much, right?
hmm
um but at the end of the day, I'd rather create a whole promotional package for you, give you interviews not only on my platform, but now that I'm cool with Rawrrzone, you know
yeah,
what, let me talk to my girl Ivy, we could work something out, we could collaborations. i don't I don't knock other platforms. In fact, there's artists that I interview and I tell them, yo, hit up this media personality, this media platform. You don't even have to mention my name, just hit them up, they're dope. I don't tell, like, there's a lot of people I've referred in the industry that we may follow each other on social media, but I don't go messaging them like, hey, I sent you 20 people this month, or hey, I let it be. Once in a while when we catch up, and if it's somebody that I personally know or I want you to personally look out for,
you'll let me
hey,
know.
Ivy, look, dope artist, hella dope. This, that, and the third. They just started off, or they're this much involved, or whatever their story is. Please, if you can, look out for them. They're dope. They're very supportive. Whatever. Like, that's different. When it becomes personable. There's people that I become very personable with.
Yeah,
But
and then there's the people that aren't.
right, and then I have after the interviews that I do, I have Ashley S. Wilkerson. She's a published author,
hmm
and she writes the recaps of my show. She puts them in like transcriptions. She's a very phenomenal writer, like amazing. She even would express, I talk a lot with my hands, so she would even express my hand gestures, my facial expression.
Oh wow.
Like right now her style of writing is a little like she switches it up a little bit. And now she's doing it as a point of view, like quoting them. Like, check it out. It's on our site as well.
So it's just like her recap, like what she thought of the episode.
It's not opinionated, so that's what makes her a great journalist. It's
hmm
She's not a blogger, not as far as the journal that we have. She's also I appointed her director, editor of direct. Oh my gosh, I'm tongue twisted. Director, um, editor, direct. Oh my god, why can't I get it out? She is a director on behalf of Vibe to Vibe legally. Um, I appointed her for that, to be the editor. Um, and she does a great job. She just started a new column called Let's Talk About It. So she would interview people um writing. So she'll ask them the question in writing, they'll reply, and then she'll just transcribe it in her own, which she did two already, which is amazing. So that's a new also part of Vibe to Vibe. But she owns all her creative rights, which is amazing. And I love it. I love that she writes the recaps of the show. I used to write my own recaps, but I thought bringing on somebody that could put it in their own perspective and kind of translate that to viewers that don't really like to watch or listen, but they're heavy readers,
Yeah.
so it helps.
If you as Tori Indeed had to, and I'm gonna switch it up for both Tori Indeed and Vibe to Vibe.
Right.
If Tori Indeed had to be a not personality, a brand ambassador for three brands, what would it be?
Tori Indeed itself, herself, and myself. Um, I don't really have like a dream brand to be a brand ambassador of. Dope brands, of course,
Would they even be like lower, like not lower, more independent type of brands?
well, I was thinking more tech because I'm really like a geek nerd, a nerd geek.
Really now?
Yeah, so I'm really into technology. So I would probably be wanting to be a brand ambassador for technology or cars. Not necessarily like clothing or anything like that. But I'm down for like Nike if Nike wants to holler at me, you know. But
Yo, Nike,
yo,
just do it,
Nike.
bro.
No, I'm
Just
thinking more
do
like
it.
or like software company, like and a brand ambassador for a software company that like, hey, I do live streaming and I use your product and I want to be the face of your company. You know what I mean? Or more like on the techie side.
Okay. So Vibe had to interview 3 people, and it could be living or dead. Who would it be?
Okay. Um. Oh gosh. I always get this question, and it's just you know what? It's so hard to answer this question because I'm so diverse.
Yeah.
And it does get like really really tough. I would say Carlos Santana. I really
Oh,
love his passion and the jazz behind his music and just his like I just feel him like my soul connects with that, you know?
I love Carlos Santana.
Right. And oh gosh. Um Big Pun is like one of my top favorite lyricists. I love him. Um Such an amazing guy, such an amazing story. I'd probably love to interview him.
Did you
Just
ever
just
interview his son?
no, but no. Not yet anyway.
Well, if you
Not
ever,
yet.
I could always help point you to the right direction if need be.
Oh, that'd be dope. That'd be definitely dope.
I,
We'll talk a little bit more behind the scenes about that one.
yeah.
Um, and oh gosh, it's so tough. Um, I have like a whole bunch of names coming at me. This is crazy. And I just had this. Oh, sorry. I just had this conversation again recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Missy Elliott. I love Missy Elliott. She's definitely dope, and she supports Jersey heavy. Um, So probably Missy Elliott as well. I used to be a dancer, a hip hop dancer. I used to be in a crew. I used to do a lot of choreography for my peers or whatnot. And her music and just her the dancing in her music videos in that time when I was younger, growing up, music videos were the whole point, like the whole storytelling, the whole dancing vibes, dance moves,
I
and
miss the old days of music
trend
videos.
setting dance moves, you know? So Missy Elliott as well. I mean, I could go on and on.
I think for me, number one would definitely have to be Prince.
Oh, damn, that's a good one.
I was always obsessed with Prince as a kid, and because I grew up in a Greek family,
Opa!
yeah,
I
that's
have
lit.
Greek cousins.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of music growing up, right? So like by the time I got like maybe 12, like between 10 and 12, I got was getting some leniency to listen to music. I was also in dance school at the time, and they played "You Got the Look" from Prince.
Ooh.
So
I can
I
see
got
where the obsession started.
that's when the obsession started, right? And I spoke to my mom's friend that she used to be like her boss. Shout out to Beans, but she made me a whole like back in the day when the CD mixtapes were actually like the thing. She
Right.
made me like when 1999, when Doves cried, Darling Nikki.
Oh my gosh.
So I became obsessed, and from there I started listening to Paula Abdul, um, and Erica Badu. Like my taste went everywhere. So that'd be one.
That's really
Taraji P
good.
Henson would be my.
Oh, yes. Yes, I definitely would love to interview her.
I want to sit down and just pick her brain about mental health.
Right. Well, she
Um,
talks a lot about it, especially being African American and mental health and what it does, and how you could be more proactive and preventative, or prepared. I would love to interview her.
I would love to have spoken to Charlemagne about mental health, but the way he's been rubbing me lately about things, I'm just like, maybe you're going a little too far this time. But the one person I would
Oh,
only.
Joey. I would love to interview Joe Budden.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I definitely I watched a video about how he responds to Charlemagne and how he talked about like, oh, Joe Budden on Spotify, but at the end of the day, Joe Budden owns, and I
The Joe
always
Budden
tell all
show.
artists, all media personalities, all creatives, you
Get
know,
own
I've
your
turned
name.
down reality TV and I don't talk about it. I don't. I have the contracts in my phone, and they want me stuck. I can't do what for a year. I can't do my own show for how long? And okay, 3 weeks unpaid for the reels and all that. Cool, cool, cool. But it could go as long as a year or a year and 18. I'm sorry, 18 months. And I'm just like, nah. I can't sign this contract. Can you resend it or can we renegotiate? And no, multiple. Multiple. Maybe like 3 times I turned something down. You
Like,
know,
but the thing with Joe Budden, and this is what people don't understand, and people think he's just being a fucking crybaby and a hater. Joe owns the
I
Joe
love
Budden.
Joey. I
I
love his
love Joe.
music too.
I love Joe's music. I love what I've been watching the podcast throughout the quarantine, and I became so hooked on it. Right, so when he came out talking about Spotify, where Spotify technically claims to own all of their podcasts, when they don't own the audio. My audio is in my hard drive. You don't own my audio.
Yeah. You
You
also got to
don't.
be careful what you sign. Like, you don't know what other, maybe not Joe Budden.
But if you even do it like from platforms like Anchor, they don't fucking own your rights.
Right.
So that's what Joe is trying to explain to all these people. He tried to put game down
Right.
because Spotify's deal, from what I understood, is a load of bullshit. The man's dad was dying. You didn't let him go handle it. He had to use COVID as an excuse to not record. And you record for 3 years at a time, 2 years at a time, with no break.
Right. They
That's
really have high expectations. I understand. But
and high expectations of what though? Because what are you really comparing him to?
no, no, no. I'm talking about Spotify.
And that's what I'm
They're
saying though.
oh, okay, okay. Because they're very detailed on what they want and their expectations. Um, and meaning like to make yourself available is probably one of them. It's unfortunate. People got lives too. We have families, we have life-changing experiences, whether it's marriage, death, divorces, whatever it is, life-changing experiences. And it's unfortunately that they only see spreadsheets, numbers, statistics, analytics. But what
And
about
and
our
you they
lives?
never heard these they never heard these shows. They only hear the shows if it's someone talking shit about them.
Right. Oh, like how could Spotify have this on their platform type
Yeah.
of. Yeah. Well,
But
I know he was, and he also mentions like to Charlemagne, like, listen, you broke the radio consecutively for so many amount of years. What do you own? Nothing.
he doesn't, because Breakfast Club he
So
doesn't own it. Uh,
it was a very great statement.
the black
Nothing
the
against
Black Media
Charlemagne.
podcast, he now owns it, right? Like half of it though.
Who?
Charlemagne.
Oh, maybe. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
Like
So I heard something, but I wasn't really
like
into.
I heard something along those lines, but I also like I stopped tapping in with Charlemagne after the whole thing happened with Joe, because Charlemagne sat there and acted like it was the same situation like Joe's last thing with that he was with academics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to compare that same situation. No, it's not the same.
No.
It's like if iHeart treats you badly.
I'm gonna send you the so you could see it. But he dropped gems. I'm about asking
Oh
about
no,
gems.
I saw the Joe Budden podcast. I
Oh,
saw
okay,
all
okay.
of it. I saw
That
all of
moment
it.
right there, I sent it to the whole team.
I sent that to my team, and they're like, "You're really obsessed with Joe Budden." I'm like, "No, I'm obsessed because someone is finally telling the truth about all this shit."
Raw. He's raw. He's blunt. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And if you can't accept the truth on that we're getting the fuck played, that's why it is great to be independent.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Like I can't see myself, and I used to think, yo, if I keep doing this shit, keep doing this shit, keep doing this shit, and I will like be on power. Like my dream was to like do a show with Angie Martinez.
Oh, she's dope. I met her when I was a kid. I met her at a car show, Funk Flex's car show,
Is
and
she
she was
bitch like
just so
everyone says she
kind
is?
and so like just so real. You know, she was like, "Keep doing what you're doing." I'm like, I interview people too.
Yo, that's funny though.
One day I'm gonna ask her, like, "Yo, do you remember this conversation? Do you remember me, young me? I remember what I wore that day. I remember what she was wearing that day. That's crazy. I love
You
her
remind me of
style.
Angie a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people told me that. They're like, I've gotten a lot of exclusive news from people,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Yo, you're just like Angie Martinez. You make us comfortable, and then you just get it out of us." I'm like, "Dang, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you."
Man, I can't wait to finally meet you in person. That's all I gotta say.
I know you have an upcoming event and
Well, yeah, Ray's doing his
listening
EP
party.
release, yes. So I'm excited for that. And shout out to Ray for setting this up because in reality, if he didn't tell me to hit you up, we never really would have spoken.
Yeah, he could have
Probably.
hit me up himself too, though. I have him
I,
on like social media. I have him on Facebook, Instagram. That's funny. But I
you know what
understand
it is?
everybody
Because
has a team. Everybody
he
has a team.
yeah, he just thought, hey, why don't you do it? Because he'll take half of the load of contacting people, and then I'll take some.
You guys have a system. It's all good. I'm just teasing.
No, listen, bro. Like me and Ray are the weirdest like tag team ever.
Duo.
Yo, I swear to God, like people will hear us talk sometimes. Like yesterday, for an example, someone walked into my office at the radio station, and Ray was pissed off about something, but I'm trying to call him all day to give him some updates.
I already know where this is going. It sounds like a relationship, but it's not. Like,
It like sounds like a weird work relationship, but because I've become so close with Ray and like Mikey, who's also my co-host, but I also manage his career, like they've become a family.
of course.
So
Like my editor, my chief and editor. Oh my gosh, that's what it was. I was kept saying
editor
that
in
like the
chief,
editor in chief. I'm talking so backwards.
it's okay. It's kind of late right now, so it's like even though the Vibe to Vibe network's on 24/7, so Tori Indeed is live 24/7.
This is the craziness I am. She's become like my sister. Like we're family. Like Ashley S. Wilkerson. Like amazing. She's like sister. We're family. You will see us argue, like not like in a negative way. I'll be like, oh, I forgot we're not friends when you're hot, or I'm not friends when you're cold. Like you know how people get. I get hangry, but I
And
don't
I
take it
go,
out on nobody. But when you see me, like, oh, she's hangry. We gotta feed Tori, or I'm like a gremlin. Like if I get
oh
like
no, that's what we do with Danny. When Danny says she's hungry, I got you. All right, say less, bro. With Ray though that day, he was in such a bad mood from the night before that I didn't hear from him all day. So he decides to send me something. I'm like, yo, you're fucking rude. What about a hello? And he sends me like two arrows and whatever and a waving hand. So I'm like, oh, so someone still has a stick up their ass? And he's like, listen, you don't want to know what's up my ass right now. I'm like, oh, okay, this went so left, but somebody walked into the office just as this was happening. I'm like, oh, well then, uh, this just this just in. Hi, my bad,
like
yo.
like live from.
Live from the office, it's the comedy stylings of Katie K and Ray Pearson.
I heard it myself.
Y'all heard it yourselves. Oh man. So with my last question, because I probably talked your ear off, and we probably have more stuff to talk about.
Oh, we could talk forever. I already know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm enjoying this way too much for right now. But without your brand, without the ability to do this, that what we're doing, right? Who would Tori be?
I would probably do the same thing except old school, more written. Probably whatever, because now everything's so live stream and so um virtual and digital. So I would probably be paper and pen, word of mouth, cassettes, CDs, Exanga.
Oh, throwback!
You like that one, right?
Wow!
Sorry, I kind of got sued.
Oh,
Mi gente, MySpace.
give it up for Tori Indeed, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today. Well,
Thank you for
being
having me. It's
yeah,
definitely adult pleasure. Thank you.
yo, we gotta do this again. Maybe we'll get like
Hell yeah.
segments with Tori once a month.
That'd be dope.
We'll
All right, I
figure.
gotta bring you on vibe to vibe because the vibe is real.
Oh, I can't wait for that. But let's get Ray's over with first, so Ray could get his 2 minutes of fame because he actually got low key mad that I interviewed you first.
Oh my god, no way! Stop.
Yeah, he got a little low key. Like, really, really though. I'm like, I couldn't help
Sorry.
it. I started chatting it up with her, and she's dope as fuck. Like, don't blame me. You introduced me to her.
Dang. Don't worry. I'll bring out the special guns for him. It's like, nah, I'm kidding.
See, I got something there. But in the meantime, my love, so we could just talk after all of this. Where can they find you?
um, ToriIndeed.com, at Tori Indeed, anywhere, everywhere. Um, Vibe to Vibe Live.com, Vibe to Vibe TV, and that's with a number two vibe, the number two vibe. That's it. You could even Google me. I come up anywhere. Tori Indeed.
So this was another thrilling episode of Inside the Raw Zone. We haven't done Inside the Raw Zone interviews for a while because we've been too obsessed with wrestling lately, but we wanted to give you actual quality content that you can actually learn from because all you guys want to be fucking assholes and think you know what the fuck you're doing. But maybe it's good for you to open your mind a little bit. I am your rambling host, Ivy, and you can follow us everywhere at Rawzone NYC. The Clash Top 10 coming Saturday, October 17th. Follow us, DTF Radio, Platinum Radio. Follow us with Talent Wave. If you know, we do writing there too. But yeah, I'm gonna stop this record.